Welcome everyone, welcome to Tuesday's edition of The Final Boss. We're at Black Alpha Tactical with my man Merlin underscore Ready. You know who he is. Marcus, you know who I am, Turbo the CEO. Brought to you by iTrinity Entertainment, iTrinity Music Group. Today, we're out here for the second part of Guns, and More Guns. Listen. We in the elements, man. It's raining cats and dogs. I just seen a cow fly across the sky. But listen, we out here because guess what? You train how you fight. Rain, sleet, or snow, you train. But we're gonna get to it. And right now, we got full display. We got long range down here because we're gonna zero some weapons. And then we're going to talk about the importance of having your weapon zeroed. I've seen some of y'all at the range, so y'all should pay attention to this because y'all ain't hitting them targets. I've seen you poke it with a pencil, but let's get to it. Marcus right here. So, welcome back, sir. Give me some love. Yeah,
thanks
man.
for having us, brother.
God bless,
Thank
bro.
you.
God bless. So, man, I know we had an amazing show on part one. The second part, I said, we're going to come out here, we're going to zero some weapons. And we didn't get a chance to elaborate on home defense.
Okay.
There's a lot of break-ins, burglaries, and things that are going on right now. Crime is at an all-time high. Can you discuss and give us some points on home defense, please, sir?
Okay, so I'm definitely honored to be back on for a second time. It's a big blessing. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you so much. So some of the pointers for me, guys, again, I have to start off with this. I have not been in an active firefight. Most of my background is going to come from the security field, protecting clients, things like that. My goal is to not even let the firefight happen, right? So from a home defense standpoint, you got to think, number one, you have the advantage, okay? Know your house. You should be able to walk around in your house in the dark. I teach my kids that all the time, okay? Number two, chances are they're going to try to catch you off guard because you're not expecting a break-in. So for me, the first and foremost thing is understand where your vulnerabilities are in your house, right? You should have layers and levels of security. I did this in one of my videos. Just don't think that it's going to be a perfect situation and that you're going to be able to whip out your body armor in a minute's notice. That realistically is probably not going to happen.
Get you some body armor.
Yes.
Get you some body armor. Very important.
Get some body armor.
Yeah.
But I like this. I like to let people know that realistically, you're probably either going to be sleeping or caught off guard. There are some people who don't walk around with a gun on their hip or within close range, right? So understand that you need to have cameras. Early warning detecting devices, right? You need to have this presence to show that your house or your domain is secure, apartment or whatever it may be. Secondary, you need to make sure you have things set up in place so that make sure your windows and doors are locked. Like, please do that. Make sure that they're locked so that nobody can just walk in your house. Also, you should strategically have different guns placed around the house, right? If you have kids like I do, I use stop boxes, I use quick access safes, right? Even use gun magnets. You can hide guns in plain sight that are still elevated away from the children. You need to make sure that you can access your firearm, also medical kit. Like I have my IFAC on the back, right? This is my individual first aid kit. It's for me. You should also have secondary first aid in your home in a different place. Everything shouldn't be in the medicine cabinet, okay? Because if you have a gun that can make holes, but you got to be able to plug holes and slow down bleeding, so take us out the bleed class. Once you have that established and set up, you need to also practice getting to your firearm. One of the things I teach my students is I say that when I don't feel good, that's the time that I try to get up and get to my gun quickly, right? So during COVID or when I was sick or when I had a cold, I had a major headache, I would practice me laying down and I would time myself jumping up and trying to get, because that's how it's going to be. It ain't going to be where you're like, well, it's time to make it happen. It's not going to be that way, right? So you need to practice and train for that. Then you also need to make sure that you can maneuver and manipulate your firearm through your house. For me, it's going to be a rifle. This one is clear, guys. Make sure we know, right? Make sure
Clear,
it's clear.
safe.
Appreciate you, brother. So you need to make sure that, like, this is an M4. You need to make sure that you're not swinging some 28-inch barrel shotgun like Ranger Dan through the house. You need to make sure that you have looked up or YouTube or took some classes in room clearing, so you understand that your barrel should be poking past a doorway. Whether you have it over the shoulder or up high, right? Okay, you need to be able to practice that and make sure that you can manipulate your gun through your house. It's not going to be to the point where you are going to be ready for the fight just because you got a gun. You got to actually train for it, okay? So I've been trained at room clearing. I have been trained in working with a team to do that. So those are the things you have to be prepared for. Also, don't be the person that wants to be the vigilante and run out into a situation because somebody breaks in your house. That's the dumbest thing to do. If everybody in your house is in a particular area, make sure that you have practice with your family what everybody's job is to do. My kids know that their job is to be quiet. My lady know her job is to get the kids and get to the safe area and call 911. If the threat is away from us, I'm going to lock that, shut the door, and I have a dresser. The only purpose of this dresser is to be pushed in front of the door. That's the only. Now there's things on top of the dresser so it doesn't look weird, but that's the goal of the dresser because you will win that battle in court if somebody broke in your house and they're hunting you. Okay, now if your child is in a different area or somebody's, then yeah, you got to go do what you got to do. But if you all together, there's no need to do that. Then knowing what to do and what to say afterwards, right? Because you got to prepare for your defense. You got to make sure that you're not going to be possibly convicted of a crime. If you are, you have some type of concealed carry home defense insurance. So that's a whole different topic. But those are like the core things to understand. Number one, make sure that, well, I would say make sure you're healthy, right? Make sure you're healthy.
Yep.
Make sure that you have a perimeter security.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Speaking on perimeter security, I know a lot of you in prominent areas and zip codes, you don't lock your doors.
Oh my God.
Listen, the bad guys know you're not locking your door. Let me say that again. The bad guys know you're not locking your doors. Great Falls, Potomac, Upper Bowie, Bethesda, Upper Northwest. You know who I'm talking to. Lock your doors. That's your first level of security, first level of defense. Back to my man Marcus.
Yeah, so absolutely. And I understand that some people, you don't experience these things, but when gentrification starts happening or is already happening and people move into what used to be bad parts of DC, them people are still familiar with those areas. So they're going to come back, okay? Understand that, right? And we're dealing with it now in southern PG County and also in Charles County, right? So number one, make sure you're healthy. Make sure you're working out, doing something physical, make yourself physically fit, because if you can't stand 30 seconds with a fight, you're dead already, okay? If you walk up one flight of steps and you breathe and chest hurting, you're done, right? So number one, make sure you're healthy. Two, have perimeter security. Make sure that you know your home inside and out. Make sure you address the vulnerabilities and know what to do if there is an issue. Okay, then after that, make sure you have guns staged in a certain location, and then make sure you practice. And lastly, make sure you have first aid, because a gun is designed to make holes, body armor is to stop holes, but you got to be able to plug them holes with your first aid or gauze if need be. Okay, so those are like the top 5 or 6 things I would tell you guys to really consider. And last but not least, I would say do some training. Don't think you're just going to go buy a gun. Like right now, I have a Glock 17. It is hot and loaded, finger off the trigger. But don't think that you're going to just get a gun and you're going to be, I don't know, Keanu Reeves, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That ain't going to happen.
You're not John Wick. Listen. Listen. I've seen people shoot at people 10 feet away and not hit them. Listen. Train. The importance of training. It's all in the training. Trust me.
And to protect you guys, never shoot a person that's fleeing, because you will go to prison.
Ooh, boy.
Okay? I mean, I had a situation where I prevented a friend from doing so when my car got broken in. He was ready to shoot, but I had to calm him down, right? Because it's like, that ain't the way to make it happen, because you don't want to be in there when you didn't have to in the first place.
Right.
When the threat has ended, you must stop.
Yep.
You gotta stop, guys, because if you do overkill in a state like Maryland, you're done.
No shooting in the back, people. No shooting in the back.
With that friendly fire in the military,
Right.
unfriendly fire out here in civilian life.
And if they go outside, be sure that you pull them back in. Quote, air quotes, pull them back in.
They go past, hey, listen, if they fall out that dwelling,
right?
You like, what we gonna do here?
Yeah, go grab them legs and pull them back in.
I would say make sure you talk with your attorney first.
Yeah, best you
consult your attorney.
Right.
But that's really all when it comes to that. Right. I mean, there's other segments we can get into when it comes, but those are like the basics.
We're gonna get back. Listen. This is not gonna be our. We said part 2. We're gonna have more. We're going to have more shows, man. Listen, it's a lot to go over and discuss when it comes to firearms training, home defense, utilizing a firearm, cleaning the weapon, discharging the weapon, what to do when it comes to malfunctions. I mean, it's a whole gamut of stuff that we can talk about. So we're not going. We're gonna. My man Marcus, great job, man. Thank you for the information on home defense.
Of course.
So we're getting ready to get into it. We're here today. We're going to zero some weapons. Can you discuss and talk about what it means to zero a weapon and how important it is?
Okay, so pretty much to sum it up, zero is making sure that your gun has the point of aim and point of impact, right? So that based on your point of aim from where the dot or the crosshairs or the iron sights are, that you are able to reach a certain point of impact, right? So is the zero going to be perfect? It can be, right? But based on distance, based on caliper, there's so many variables based on the wind and all other stuff. But realistic, what I typically use is a 36-yard zero. Because based on my understanding, I believe the Marines use it. I think they still use it. Based on a 36-yard zero with a 5.56, your shot between 25 to 300 yards, it should be within like a CD size disc, right? Even with my 20-inch barrel ARs, or I still, for 5.56, I still use a 36-yard zero. Now for like my AK, I do a 25 because of how the ballistic is and the bullet drop is not that big of a deal. For my 30-06, I may use a 50 or 100. It depends on the scope, right? You're gonna have certain optics that's gonna tell you whether to use a 25 or 50-yard zero. But it's up to you what you use was best for you and know what you're going to be shooting at, right? So every gun is not an end-all be-all gun. You can have a do-it-all gun, but for your AR pistols, hey, listen, as long as you're within 100 yards, you can use a 25, 30-yard zero and you'll be fine. Now, for something you want to go out to 600 yards, you may want to use a 100-yard zero. But for the purpose of what we're doing right now for the 5.56s, we're going to do a 36-yard zero, and we're going to go from there. I have my rangefinder, and we're going to make sure that we're at proper distance, and we're going to make sure that we're at a nice, I guess, something the size of a quarter, smaller than your fist, based on the ammo we have, and we're going to go from there. And based on that 36-yard zero, it doesn't matter if he's 7 feet away or if he's 50 or 100 feet away. He should be able to have a nice size group if he does what he's supposed to do, okay? And that's pretty much it. Now, everybody may not agree with my zero technique, but I've learned this from some of the greatest in the industry, and I just follow their tactic because it's been working, so I'm going to stick with it.
Okay. Yeah, you got to do what works for you. And that comes through training. Repetition and training. Build a regiment for yourself, so when the time comes, it's like muscle memory.
Absolutely.
Muscle memory. It's a natural thing. So train and repetitively, using repetition skills, and you will find yourself going into a muscle memory situation when the time comes for you to exercise home defense, or when you're whatever you're doing. But we're going to get into it now.
Cool.
So we appreciate everybody watching. We're out here in the weather, in the rain, the thunderstorm. It's crazy, but you know what? Train how you fight. And I think we should go ahead and get started, my guy.
Please, you want to see if anybody had any questions?
Anyone got any questions? Y'all got any questions?
Questions up here.
Y'all got any questions? Let me see. Y'all got any questions? Let me see. Who? No questions? Okay.
What's happening? How y'all feeling?
Y'all good? Everybody good? All right. So, no questions? Let's go. Let's do it. Let me get my joint, right?
All right, guys. Well, I'm about to end the live, and I believe Turbo is still recording, so I will share the additional content. Bless y'all. Thanks for tapping in. I'll catch y'all later. Make sure if y'all need consultation, farm instruction, hit me up, DM me, text me, call me, whatever it is. Bless y'all. I'm out.
I wonder how much time we've already. What do you think? You think we're at the 20-minute mark?
Let me see. I believe so. I'm sure because we start recording a little after 6. So yeah, I think we are.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna throw some down range.
Okay.
And then I'll stop the recording, and then we probably can just do regular recording, and I can do some editing and upload it later.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. So, did you want to go ahead? I can put up some targets so we can start the zeroing process.
Okay. While you doing that, I got some. That'll be perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and throw those up, and then we'll go ahead and make it happen.
Yeah, because I got some announcements.
Gotcha.
Okay. Tune in this Sunday, 9 p.m. for the next show. I think the topic right now is going to be about balancing perspectives. And it's going to be tied into everything else, all the other topics that we've been discussing. So balancing perspectives is going to be next week's show. Tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, we're going to be with Miss Cynthia Shinkonse. She's the wealth strategist. We're going to be discussing, it's a 3-part show that we're doing. It's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 9 p.m. So please tune in to that. She's the wealth strategist, and she has a wealth of knowledge that we're going to be discussing. Like I said before, retirement, IULs, your tax dollars, making your money work for you, and life insurance, amongst some other things. So tune into that. It's going to be great and amazing. I appreciate everyone for tuning in always. Marcus is down range right now. He's setting up targets. We're gonna zero a couple weapons and see what it do. I think I'm going to record that and upload it later on after I do some editing. But for this piece of the show, I thank everyone for tuning in, per always. God bless. Thank you for tuning in. Be good out there. Be good to yourself. I'm Turbo the CEO, and this is the end of this segment, and you'll see the activities that we're going to perform with the zeroing later on. Thank you, and have a great night.